Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where Lef and I will bring you up to date with some very, very interesting and important racing. But firstly, Interbet opened their box on Saturday at Greyville. Very nice box, and for any Interbet clients, you just phone the call center and you want to go and race there at Greyville, the box is open.
Good idea. Well done to them.
But secondly, more importantly, far more importantly than that, you getting to the big 5-0 today, or
48 today.
48 today.
48
yeah.
today.
Yeah, 48.
Birthday. It's also Dave Mollett's birthday.
Dave Mollett.
Duncan McKenzie Rooster, Craig Cunningham, my ex-assistant. So the couple of 5th of Mays.
Well, that's very good for you. Now, you're all joining up and having a Sharpie, as David would call it.
We've got to get together. Whenever Molly and I see each other, we don't need a birthday. Molly and I
But,
certainly don't need
happy
a birthday.
birthday to you from
Thank
all
you.
of us here at Winning Ways and from the whole racing community.
Thank you very
nice
much.
to see that only the good die young. Let's move on with that pearl of wisdom and go and have a look at our 3 to follow. Well, let's go straight into our 3 to follow, and we go to Greyville, and we look on Saturday the 3rd of May. We go to it was the second race. Mike de Kock's stable stepped out one in Mike's colours, which was very unusual, and they never stopped backing this horse. It ended up 6 to 10. He ran what I thought was a pretty ordinary 4th, but when you go and watch a race, you'll see he'd probably be worth following. The son of Judpot, Dream Upon a Dream. Let's go and pick him up at the start. And there he is, left drawn 4.
Yeah, you see Michael's colours, and these colours nearly won a Vodacom do in July. Jumps well. He gets a little bit keen with that knee Delpesh, but as James says, he found a lot of support, and that knee's got him rolling at the race, and he's taking on horses with the experience of having had a run, and Game Loft and Jamberman, the humble hero, brought his horse into town as well. But here you'll just notice, Anthony tries to steady him. And he's not enjoying that too much, James.
No, he actually probably would have preferred to stride, because he's been, his head's bobbing around for about 600 meters, and he just will not settle. He's obviously very keen. He's obviously got a lot of ability, this horse. But now when he asks him to quicken up as he turns for home, he just gets pretty one-paced.
Yeah, he's pulled hard. He hasn't given
Still pulling.
Yeah, he hasn't given an easy time to
the
winner. Kevin Shea rides the winner, Game Loft, down the inside, and following home is the runner-up, Jamberman, with Sean Cormack. But here, Anthony pulls him out, and he is a little one-pace because he has had to do so much with the pulling, but he'll improve a lot. He is so green. He's running out, and I think Anthony realises, he's not going to win because he doesn't know what he's doing. And Game Loft sets sail for home.
Yeah, a very encouraging run. He's a nice type of a horse, and he's one of those horses that's going to start at a reasonable price next time because of this run, and he certainly will improve in leaps and bounds. He'll probably find he'll be better down the straight at 1200 at Clare. Would he be able to dawdle something like that?
Correct.
Or even Scottsville. Let's go on and have a look at Kenilworth Sunday. There was some good racing at Kenilworth, and we go to race 2, Maiden Juvenile Plate. They're going 1,000 meters. And take a look at the horse that ran 5th here. We'll pick him up at the start, crawl 1.
This is Winter Trade. He's a Western Winter, and he gets completely left at the games out of an old mufti mare, and he walks out of the gate. Have a look at the back. You'll see the colours of Hassan Adams way out of the race. And have a look. There's just no sight to this horse. The winner is young Couch Neetling in the yellow colours, who wins the race. But have a look at the back, right on the left of the screen. The horse in white, who's second last, is well clear of it, and is completely out of the race. As we said, the winner is well handled by young Couch Neetling and Bernard Cantor's yellow silks for the snakes, and that starts cruising up at the pacemaker, and there's no sign of our horse Winter Trade.
No sign of him at all. As you say, Divan Neetling, as he's affectionately known but couched by all of us, cruises through to the front now. Nice to see him ride a winner in Cape Town again for Graham and Babette. They very big followers of his. But watch this thing now.
Yeah.
taking off, come
Yeah.
from absolutely nowhere.
This has got to be a horse you've got to follow. It didn't know what was happening at the gates. It got left standing, and just let it find its way through to run on and be with Winter Trade.
Well, Darryl, take it back to the gates before we whip it next time, please. Just give it another shot.
Sorted that, Darryl.
We're going to go to race 3, and we're going to the 1,000 meters. This is a maiden fillies, two-year-olds. This filly, we think, won pretty easily, and she's bred to go quite a lot further than this, so she might be something useful. Let's go and have a look at the Walter Bass trained, heartwarming Grant Finico, also draw 1.
Yeah, here again, this jumps out. It wants to roll, and Grant Finico riding it. It's a Mess approval out of a keen mare, and you can see it's travelling, and he's at some stage during the race he says to himself, let me cover this up, I'm travelling so well. Bear in mind, they've had a bit of rain. He's trying to just ease it in behind the horse next to it, and this horse just wants to roll. The danger is in the colours of the Wilgerbos Mary Slack with the red cap and black body. That runs a very good race in the runner-up berth, but have a look when he lets this horse out at the 400. This is a horse called Heartwarming out of a Rakeen mare.
Yeah, she's just a nice filly. This, I think that there's a lot to like about her. She looks like a galloper. She's got great little action, and she just cruises past him. She'd had 2 runs. The first run looked very good. The second run was pretty flat, but she went in a hand canter. Look at him. He just looks, take a peep over his shoulder, and she's just a galloper. I think that she might be better than this rating would have her.
Yeah, correct. Especially if it goes a bit of trip and she can settle, because the third horse was in another parish. So remember that, heartwarming.
Right, and after you've remembered all that, and Darryl's remembered to pass that, put that all through the pens again, we will remember to go to Blast from the Past. Quite hard for us to remember the age we're starting to get to. It's quite difficult to start remembering these things. But let's go back and have a look at the 2013 SA Fillies Sprint.
Victorian Secret edging in. SA Filly Sprint, all set. They are dispatched, and Via Africa got a flyer. 5 off the left-hand side. White Blaze and Matching Silks, the early leader. Blue Body of Jackadors towards the inside. Festival of Fire. Down the centre, She's a Stunner. The grey is All Is Secret. Princess Victoria's only 2 lengths off them. Well Witcher looking to be settled off the speed. Espumanti. Counter Ridge stand side. Sue for Peace. And then comes Miss October. Victorian Secret. They're racing very compactly. But it's the flying filly, Via Africa, who has the lead by a length and a quarter. She makes her way towards the inside rail. The grey, All Is Secret, looks to get a little bit closer. Princess Victoria, Jackador, Festival of Fire comes under stride to the inside, looking to run on Well Witcher. Coming inside the last 300 now, and Via Africa clear by a length and a half. Princess Victoria tries to come forward. All Is Secret up the outside. Well Witcher is looking to run on. Via Africa still clear out here, and it's Via Africa with that magical stride. In fact, her stride's better than a million words. She's 3 lengths clear, and she ventures into new territory here. Grade 1 success, Via Africa. Festival of Fire staying on nicely. Princess Victoria.
Well, we're looking forward to future grade run successes. In fact, the SA Filly Sprint is probably where she's going again this year. She's
very good filly.
filly.
Very, very good filly. And I think the half-sister or the sister was bought back at the sale, so we'll see that probably in Duncan's yard as well. But this, very impressive. Alec Forbes rode it this day.
It's amazing they've got a half-brother called something Mac. He's run up 3 or 4 times, and he doesn't look too good at all.
Big Mac.
Well, he looks like he's had too many Big Macs,
yeah.
And he doesn't look any good at all. So it just shows you, you know what they call you, lightning in a bottle. So let's go and have a look at the plum of the week, which was a gift.
Black Chestnut clear by 2. My Name is Bond now looks to apply pressure. Gold Angus is starting to run on down the center of the course. Message in a bottle. Could the Cornell collar do the trick for Gold Angus? He hits the front of the 200. And Gold Angus, this is his true ability. It's all over. Gold Angus, look at that stride. He's 5 lengths clear. And Gold Angus torpedoes this field. My Name is Bond second. Message in a bottle. Teppanyaki, Zillid Warrior behind the...
Well, if you ever wanted to back a horse, this horse was 3-1 freely available. You could have got 4-1 and 9-2 on Interbet. And it shows you the value of reading the declarations.
Cornell collar.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're beautifully named. Angus Gold Angus.
Gold Angus, yeah.
Yeah, Gold Angus. And the Cornell collar, certainly designed in Cornell University and very, very good. I've got my own on, probably mine. This was used today, I don't know. Mine floats around Summerfeld.
Yeah. And it actually just helps keep the palate, the soft palate in the right place, doesn't it? It fits underneath the horse's
quite tightly. Yeah.
And the point being that this horse, Gold Angus, has had all types of problems. And now, fitted with a Cornell collar, you could have got on him at a decent price and got back all your cash. So he was a real plum of the week. We've got a lot of business to go through in current affairs. Going to be very interesting. Let's go and have a look there.
Do you want to get the best odds on horse racing and sporting events? For every bet requested, we review all the bookmakers and select the one with the best odds. As a result, you always get the best odds. Interbet offers tote betting, fixed odd multiples, and betting with your mobile phone. To get started, all you need to do is register by filling in your personal information. Log into your account and start wagering.
Right, welcome to Current Affairs, and we've got 7 races we're going to show you from all parts of the globe, but 4 of them were in South Africa, and the big season's picking up here in Gold Circle country. We had the KRA Fillies Guineas, the KRA Guineas, and we had the Independent on Saturday, Drill Hall Stakes. Those were the 3 that run in this province. Those are the 3 we're going to look at first, James, and the season's starting to unfold.
Absolutely, and as we had 2 very, very good races for the 3-year-olds, and I thought that this was an interesting race because they were a bit slower. They're a couple of seconds slower than the Colts version, but take a look at how this race unfolds. Let's go and have a look at Maybe Yes winning the KRA Fillies Guineas.
Guineas, a length and a half leader. Captain's Daughter second, Amarikaya's back third. Maybe Yes, Red Sleeves and Cap is fourth. In the fast lane is back at the rails, 6 lengths to track down. Goldie Coast is on the outside. Also followed then further back by Not Sulking, running wide out is Alaskan Maiden. They are followed further back by South Carolina. Athena's now at the back of the field, got 10 or 11 lengths to make up. KRA Fillies Guineas top of the stretch, and Maybe Yes comes forward. Amatikaya in the fast lanes, getting a split on the inside. Maybe Yes the leader, running on a Seacat on the outside, Not Sulking, but Maybe Yes hit the front, and it's Maybe Yes Not Sulking on the outside, then Lana Falcon. Maybe Yes just the leader. Maybe Yes has won it. Second Not Sulking, then in the fast lane, and Lana Falcon.
Yeah, very good win for Maybe Yes. Nicely named horse from the Wilgeborgsdrift and owned by a gang of successful people. Well done to all of them. Glenn Hatt, Brett Crawford, great start.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that this is owned by the Ladieras and Jessica Slack and the Equine boys, you know, Gary Grant and Chris Haynes.
Yeah.
And I think they had the mare. They've certainly had most of the progeny out the mare, but Mary bred it, fair enough, the name. She was a very good mare indeed. And
Tiger Ridge is still firing them out.
He's a good stallion, Tiger Ridge. He just keeps producing. But Brett's announced that he was in KwaZulu-Natal in his tartan, you know, that Crawford tartan.
Crawford tartan, Well, he's William Wallace some days, and he's Brett Crawford some days.
Yeah, and he's, well, at least he doesn't have 3 personalities like some people we know, or 4.
I know what you mean, John.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, John.
Yeah. Well, let's move on and have a look. Brett Crawford had won the Phillies Guineas. Well, he certainly expected to win the Colts Guineas. He stepped out Captain America, and he thought that he would show just how good Captain America was against Legislate, but there was no match. Let's go and have a look.
Second and Chiquilli's at the rail third. Legislate only a length and a half off Captain America back in fourth. Then the filly are set ripping. Besanova has the yellow cap. They're followed by the grey Top Jet. That's 8 lengths off the leader. Copybook on the outside. Speed Rocket and Diamond King the last 2. They're about to be homeward bound in the KRA Guineas. And it's Chestnut Rocket the leader. Captain America's moving in earlier. Legislate also coming around them to tackle. Captain America and Legislate, there's a neck between the 2 of them. Then Besanova, Chestnut Rocket, and Legislate comes into the lead now. Legislate going for home, gone clear. And Legislate in the KRA Guineas is going on by 3 or 4 lengths. Besanova's running on, but Legislate, very impressive. Won it by 2.5 to 3. The second place will go to Besanova. Then came Captain America. Top Jet, Diamond King, further back, Speed Rocket.
Well, this was a sparkling performance, and if ever I've seen a horse put down a marker for all the big ones, including the Vodacom Durban July, that was this performance. James, cracking performance.
Yeah, he certainly looks like a worthy favourite for everything to come, and it's going to be fascinating to get Louis the King against him if he does come down here and run. But the Daily News is now starting to look like some type of race. I think Captain America's connections will be a little hurt. I think that they thought that they would be able to win this. And this horse absolutely hammered him.
Yeah. He might just need to tighten up the big horse, Captain America. But
Can he
Besanova's an
tighten up
interesting
enough
horse,
to beat
James.
this horse?
Sorry?
Can he tighten up enough to beat this
Well,
horse?
he might do. He's just a big horse, but they're both very, very good horses. James, Besanova's an interesting winner because it comes from a very strong stable of Alec Laird. He's got great 3-year-olds.
Well, he's got, you say he's got 4 3-year-olds that are top quality.
Top quality.
They just all have got beaten by all
And I think
these other
most
horses.
of them have beaten Besanova.
Yeah.
Most of his other horses have beaten Besanova.
Well, he had Chiquelli in the race as well. That ran a disappointing
that
race,
was a
you
horse who might just be stretching it. But it makes it very interesting for the rest of the season when Louis himself comes in town and Alec Laird brings Mr. Cricket and all the others, the Judd Potts, and he's got a very strong hand, Alec Laird. So I'm really excited about the season. But this horse has certainly left his mark.
Well, you can be as excited as you like about the season. I'm excited about what we're going to see now. This, to me, was the performance of the year so far. The Drill Hall Stakes, the champion miler, older horse, and the champion filly, older horse. They met up and see what happened. The girls won.
Half length between the 2 of them. Then Sylvano's Jet, followed by No Worries. Then comes Rio Carnival, Jet Explorer, and Jet Explorer is giving them about 15 lengths start. They're really starting to stretch out. In the independent on Saturday, Drill All Stakes, and it's distinguished by 5 lengths. In second, Royal Zulu Warrior. Then here comes Billy. Behind that, Lake Arthur, Beach Beauty, Cape Town one. Neck between the 2 of them, 8 lengths off the leader at the top of the stretch. Down the inside, No Worries. Coming to the 300, distinguished Royal Zulu Warrior, and Beach Beauty starts to warm up. Cape Town was running on. Here comes Billy, but here comes Beach Beauty. She explodes into action the last 100, and Beach Beauty is home and hosed. Beach Beauty won it. Second place will go to, close, maybe Rio Carnival, Cape Town War, and here comes Billy. Win number 16 for the gutsy mare, Beach Beauty.
Right, Beach Beauty, what a performance. Really blew them away. And another feather in the cap of Dynasty and the Armitages. Well done to them. James, she's got a lot to look forward to.
Well, 2 Dynasties in a row because the Shively bred Legislate, and now the Armitage's filly. I love this filly. She doesn't look like much. She's quite long-legged and,
James, some interesting runners come out of there. Punta Arenas, Rio Carnival, here comes Billy. Good runs.
Well, when you look at the plain facts of the matter, Rio Carnival won a group or listed race last time out at Clearwood over a mile. First time he started to go a bit of trip, so he might be unexposed relatively. Cape Town Noir, we know he got beaten a short head in the horse Chestnut.
Yeah.
And then you have the fourth horse, Here Comes Billy, won the Merchants in Johannesburg in December. So,
what do you think of Punta Arena's running? Stanley's got to be chuffed.
I thought that was a very good run. You know, the difficulty this year with the July is there are 8 qualified or 10 qualified, and then there's the rest of the places for whoever's available. He's going to be in one of those places.
He placed. He ran well last year. He ran a very good race.
He's going to be fighting for one of those spots. You know, not easy.
Interesting race. Good to get them going. That's the way they go in the season. You know, they prep them and they get them going, and later on we'll find out how good they are. We've got great races to come through. But let's go down to Cape Town. There was a Group 3 run in Cape Town, and Dean Canema got the owner back on song with the winner here. Let's go and have a look. It's the Techies Town Winter Guineas. Nice to see them sponsoring. Let's go have a look at this. This was run on Sunday in the rain.
Length in front of Power King. 2 further back we find Mr. Matchett, and Paolo is going to corner back 1 from last, and racing at the back of the field we got Azincourt as heads turn for home. 600 metres left to go in the Techie Town Winter Guineas. Global Destiny brought the field for home from Vice Admiral. Dynastic Power. Up the middle we got Ream. Down the inside Mr. Matchett and Power King is still 4 lengths off that leader. 400 metres left to go. Global Destiny trying to hang tough in front. Now the challengers start to come thick and fast. Down the inside it's Vice Admiral. Power King is on the charge. Ream up the outside. Mr. Matchett gets going. 200 metres left to go, and Power King gets driven into the lead. Up the outside it's Ream, but Power King has kicked for home, and he's powering home in the Techie Town Winter Guineas. Power King from Ream. Then it's close. Dynastic Power and Vice Admiral. Those 2 in a photo for minor money.
Well, Dean Canema teaming up with our friend Carl Nisius, and James Merrill rated to be a certainty.
Oh yeah, he's 10 points better than the second horse, and he ran to 10 points better than the second horse. He's the class horse of the race.
Silvano.
Very, very good win out of Northern Guestmare.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to see this type of pedigree later on.
Yes.
Northern Guest has been an unbelievable influence on the Broodmare band.
Yeah. Right, there we go. Those are the local races. Now we've got a couple to show you and a couple to talk about. The first one we're going to is the Quipco 2000 Guineas. This is a race in England, and it's always a cracking good race. They're already starting to readjust the betting for the Derby. And let's have a look. It's still the Investec Derby, isn't it, James? Yes.
Investec Derby, it certainly will be for as long as we will know. But this was interesting race because Richard Hannon Jr., who's taken over from his dad, Richard Hannon, had the second favourite in the race, Tremor, which is ridden by Richard Hughes, and Kieran Fallon rode the second choice, which was 40-1, which ended up winning it. So we're going to have a look at this, and it's a very interesting race because it only unfolds very late, and they're split into 2 groups, which they quite often do at Newmarket, and it's quite interesting to watch him run through the bushes. The hot favourite was Kingman, who's a Gosden-trained, very, very nice horse indeed, and he looked like unbeaten at the stage. He went in here and got beaten by a 40-1 shot. Let's go pick him up.
They're off and racing. Stride away from the stalls then for the Guineas. Kingman is allowed time to find his stride. 2 or more is angling over without strip over towards the stand side of the course. Shifting Power is also coming stand side, and we're going to have a difference of opinion here. Meanwhile, over on the far side, Nuso Canarius leads up over there with Charm Spirit. Kingman has ended up in that far side group with the Grey Gatsby. Night of Thunder's rider has a look around to see who is with him, and Book Runner as well. Meanwhile, over on the stand side, 2 or more is headed right over towards the near side rail. Shifting Power, his stable companion, is another who's racing prominently with Urtijal. Australia not too far off that group, in company with Outstrip, as they continue their progress on down towards halfway. So impossible at this stage to line up the 2 groups. Meanwhile, stand side 2 or more has the overall advantage on this near side. Nuso Canarius continues to tow them along over on the far side. Kingman is still towards the rear of that group. The Grey Gatsby is in that group as well. 2 or more still prominent with company with Shifting Power over on the near side. side as they make their journey now down inside the final couple of furlongs. Still 2.5 furlongs to travel. Australia being produced to come and try and close on the near side with Shifting Power and two or more. Kingman is moving forward over on that far side group, who is still headed by Nusu Canarias. They run downhill and into the dip. Australia and two or more stand side with Shifting Power over on the far side. Nusu Canarias, and here's Kingman exploding for the far side group. Kingman's come through to lead that group with Night of Thunder Australia under the near side rail. Night of Thunder drifting over Australia and Kingman. They're wide across the course. Kingman, Night of Thunder dives, and I think won the Guineas. I think Night of Thunder went up to floor Kingman and Australia and Shifting Power. It will go to the judge.
Well, there we go. Night of Thunder. Bud Dubois out of a Galileo mare has won a great race. So as we said, they're spread across the track. They came at all angles. Kingman had run a great race by Invincible Spirit. And the third horse, funny enough, Australia, James Shayna pedigree comes to fore by Galileo out of Ouija Board.
Yeah.
Remember the champion Ouija Board, the Cape Cross filly?
That's got the pedigree and a half, but it got beaten by Night of Thunder, beaten convincingly, because this horse drifted very badly in the last 100 metres across the track from the inside to the outside. But it shows you how these jockeys work out which is the best going. And obviously a number of them thought the inside was the better going, but they didn't want the middle. No one wanted to go near the middle of the track. So that's the
Fallon.
2,000 guineas. And
how many winners has he had of that race now, Fallon? He's won a few.
It's his fifth winner in the 2,000 guineas. Fifth winner of the 2,000
Is that right?
guineas.
He's fifth, okay.
Yeah.
And then the next one we're going to look at is...
just while we're talking about that,
Yeah.
in England they ran a couple of other races. They ran the 1,000 guineas for fillies. Okay,
That's right.
And that
Miss
was
France.
won by the Dancilly filly, Miss France, André Fabre, Maxime Guillon. And
Miss France is a very good filly, you know. And Dan Silly is doing very well. It's under Danehill. Very good stallion, Dan Silly.
yeah, now the other race that was, I think, important for the Oaks, if you look at the Oaks down the line, was the Pretty Polly Stakes. It used to be a very good race. But it was won by Tagruda, which is Sheikh Hamdan's, trained by Gosden, ridden by Hannigan. And this filly was by See the Stars. So it's the first crop of the See the Stars as a won. And she's out of a Sadler's Wells mare. So that's got, you talk about pedigree. Yeah. That's got a pedigree, as well.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on.
Yeah, let's go to America.
Let's see something that's got no pedigree.
Yeah, let's go to
let's
America.
find one that's got absolutely no pedigree at all.
Kentucky Derby. Before we show you the race, James was telling you guys weeks ago, get onto California Chrome, get onto California. And James, you're 100% right. But what was interesting is when you told the public last time, just refresh them how the owners were offered big money and said no, because it was going to leave their trainer.
Yeah, the amazing thing is that they owned the mare. They bought it back in a claiming race. It was owned by one of those racing syndicates. For those of you that don't know the story, they bought back the mare for 8,000. They claimed it for. Ran it a few times, no good. So they decided, no, they're going to breed. You know, which we all think that we can do.
Yeah.
And there are many professional breeders out there that wish they could breed something that could win a Group 1, never mind a Kentucky Derby. Anyway, they sent it to a stallion that cost $2,500. Pulpit's son, I think his name was by Pulpit. And it ended up producing this chestnut horse. They offered it to a few big trainers, and they said no, they didn't have room in their barns, you know. And so they found Art Sherman, who last went to the Kentucky Derby in 35 years ago with Swale, was it?
That's right, yeah.
Went to the Kentucky Derby 35 years ago with Swell. Now he's got the favourite for the Derby. But the interesting thing was after it won the Santa Anita Derby, they were offered $6 million for 51% in the horse. $6 million. Now, I don't know how many of you out there would turn down $6 million for 51% of any horse, okay? Even maybe Variety Club, okay? They said to the guys who wanted to make the offer, as long as it stays with Art Sherman, who's our trainer. Now, Art Sherman, you must work it out, 77 years old, the oldest man ever to win the Kentucky Derby. And they said, no, it's going to one of the big guys. So these two guys who bred this horse said, no, that's it stays. It's a bit like Via Africa bred by Andre Hauptlich, you know, that breed champions by little guys who have a few mares or a mare.
It's great to
just
see.
For fun.
Gives us
anyway,
a chance.
You just got to watch this because Victor Espinosa puts his horse in a position and he is clearly the best horse in the race. Now remember, when you look at the Kentucky Derby, it's run on a basis where horses accumulate points over their season.
It's a tough campaign.
to get into the race. And those big stables like Baffert and Pletcher and McGaughey and all those guys have got many, many horses they start off with trying to get there. And they end up with 2 or 3. And here comes a guy who really trains. He trains on one of the C-grade tracks.
Let's have a look at the race. This is the Kentucky Derby, Churchill Downs.
In the Kentucky Derby. A good start for California Chrome. He broke a bit outwardly. He'll be among the early leaders. Harry's Holiday fires out fast from the inside. There goes Cheetu, and California Chrome is right with them. Uncle Si, California Chrome, and Cheetu will set the pace in the Derby. And then it's Samrat running in 3rd position, and then Vickers in trouble to the inside. Harry's Holiday is hard to control early, and moving up on the far outside of horses is Wildcat Red and Intense Holiday. Then it's Tapiture, Meadow Count, Vince Ramos, and Danza's guided down to the inside part of the track. Wicked Strong is next. Oh, Candy Boy had to steady hard on that turn. Then it's Dance with Fate. We Miss Artie to the inside. Between horses, General A-Rod, Commanding Curve, and Ride on Curlin, who was taken to the back by Calvin Burrell, will be last of them all. As they go to the back stretch, the pace is not fast. They went 47 and 1 for a half mile, and Uncle Si is the leader. Cheat 2 is second, and California Chrome is now just off of them. Victor Hasbinoza has him well in hand, running in 3rd position, a length and a half off the lead. And then comes Samrat to the outside. Intense Holidays on the far outside, pretty close to the pace. Vickers in trouble, and Rosina Pravniker down at the rail. Then comes Danza and Tapiture. Now they make their way into the far turn, and it is Uncle Si the leader. Cheat 2 is alongside, and California Chrome is 3rd, just outside the leaders. Samrat is right next to him. The 4 of them are together. Then Intense Holiday, Tapiture, Meadow Count, Danza's right there in contention. Dance with Fate is next, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. And California Chrome makes his move for the lead. It is California Chrome. On the outside, Samrat runs at him with the 8 pole. California Chrome is pulling away. California Chrome into the final furlong. He's got a 5-length lead on his competition. It is California Chrome in front. And from the back of the pack on the outside, Commanding Curve is taken second. But California Chrome shines bright in the Kentucky Derby. Commanding Curve was second. And then came Danza in third. The final time, 2 minutes.
There we go, 170,000 people hanging off the Twin Spires. Everyone to come and watch this horse who's by Lucky Pulpit. And we're just talking about Tappet by Pulpit as well, because the Oaks winner, Steve Asmussen's horse, won the day before. And just talking about the pedigree, James, it's the grand size of AP Indy. It's magnificent how they've dominated, eh?
Yeah, it's just very interesting as to how breeding just strikes somewhere, sometime, and you produce a horse like this. You know, the parentage, you cannot find anything in the parentage that's going to make this horse into a champion.
Absolutely.
And it's just, it's things that happen in life, and they're obviously good people, these, and I must say, my congratulations to them, and to Art Sherman, who's battled his whole life. He's a trainer, he was a strapper, he wants to do this job, and to get a little bit of support from people that he was just nice to, you know, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Just staying, James, with your pedigrees, just staying with AP Indy, we've got Just As Well out here. Who's the line of AP Indy? He's the only Group 1 winning son,
Funny enough, he had his first crop at the National Yearling Sales. They sold quite well. They're quite nice horses.
Stands at Spring Valley.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting when you look at that cross.
Greg Royden, Turner, and Proctor, and all of them have got a share in the horse.
Okay, well, he's only Group 1's winning son of AP Indy stand here. But another thing, James, is very important. How unlucky is the second trainer?
Dallas Stewart, he ran second last year, he ran second this year.
He's a boy from, I think, the Bayou or wherever he's from. But shame, Dallas Stewart had the runner-up in the last 2 years of this race. Well, there we say the influencer, AP Indy, Seattle Slew. And James, have we got another race to show? We've got the big one.
We've got one more to show. You're going all over the world. We've been to England, we've been to America. Now let's go and have a look at how South Africa can produce racehorses in Hong Kong. This race, remember, has never been won by anyone else but a Hong Kong horse in 13 runnings. They thought the Hong Kong horses couldn't lose. We stepped into town. Never been won from a wider draw than 9. We drew 12. Let's go and show them what we're all about.
last year. Variety Club is set. He's drawn barrier 12. Variety Club takes up his spot, and Helene Spirit will be the last. For this year's Champions Mile, $12 million in stakes, and they're off and racing in the Champions Mile. And Able Friends jumped about midfield. Variety Club given a positive right out of the gates. He lands a length in front of Dan Excel, is being hard pushed to try and keep him out. Helene Spirit away well, together with Maina Lacrima in a three-wide position. Mashore wishes Dan Excel has to drift back. Then Blazing Speed, Gold Fun. Then Flame Hero from Real Specialist, Glorious Days. Able Friend is off the course. Well back, Gordon Lord Byron from Zaidan, and 2 lengths last of all is California Memory. So Able Friend is drifting right back through the field, and Marrera's looking for cover as they run inside the 1,000 metres. Helene Spirit in front from the South African Star Variety Club. Blazing Speed third, Maina Lacrima, the Japanese runner, in fourth. 3 back the fence, Real Specialist inside, Gold Fun, and deeper out as they race down the side of the course is Mashore, so he couldn't find a spot in the French horse. Then Dan Excel, further back to Flame Hero, Glorious Days strung up in traffic, Zaidan the rails. Able Friend is pulling to the outside. Second last is Gordon Lord Byron, he'll need some luck. And California Memories last as they straighten up. Variety Club's gone deep. On the fence, Helene Spirit, Blazing Speed and the orange jacket going between them. Then Dan Excel and Able Friend is starting to lift on the outside as Variety Club, the South African races, 2 lengths in front. Can Able Friend pegging back? He's got the job to do it. Variety Club's going great guns inside the 100 metres. Able Friend can't make any more impression than Dan Excel going to third, but what a triumph. The first international success, and Variety Club roars away to beat Able Friend. Dan Excel in a photo for third with Glorious Days. Then Gold Fun, followed by Blazing Speed, Maina Lacrima from Mashore Wish, then Gordon Lord Byron, Real Specialist, Flame Hero, Helene Spirit knocked up from California Memory, and Zaidan was last in. What a freakish performance by Variety Club. Positive ride by Anton Marcus to put him right up on the speed. Park outside the leader, coming off the fence, rounding for home, looking for the better going. What a dominant performance.
What a fantastic performance. Showed the rest of the world what they can do, and well done to the 2 Antons, as they're called now. Anton Shepherd as well, the breeder. Nice to see they went out there. Derek Bruchman I saw was out there as well. Marcus Jooster, possibly his wife, was out there as well. Good to see the crowd of South Africans out there.
Yeah, it's breathtaking to see a horse, our champion miler, multiple South African champion, goes to Dubai, did what he needed to do in Dubai. How he got beaten the second time, we're not even sure, because there's no way on earth that he get beaten by that horse again. And comes out here, travels now. He's had a hard season, you know. He's had 3 big races in Dubai. Travels over here, just looks even better.
He's getting better and better.
And he didn't beat them, he murdered them. And remember, what he beat was the winner of this race last year, who was prepared specifically for this race. Now, interesting, I'd like to just read you off Thoroughbred Daily News. Hong Kong handicapper Nigel Gray mentioned a possible rating of 125 or even 127. Hong Kong Jockey Club CEO Winfried Engelbrecht Bregers mentioned seriously looking at ways of making it easier for South African horses to compete overseas. His connections mentioned a possible tilt at the Grade 1 Prix de la Forêt, that's in France on Arc Day. And why they want to go there is because that gives them entry into the Breeders' Cup if they win that, qualify that. Now,
who's that guy, the CEO of Hong Kong Racing? His middle name sounded Afrikaans. Engelbrecht. We got a scarf working for us there. That's what we need.
He's our man, Engelbrecht.
We want Engelbrecht to sort out the protocols. Well done to Engelbrecht.
Well,
couldn't believe we got a scarf.
He's sort out our Engelbrechts. But let's just go back. 1996, I think it was. London News arrived there. Unheard of, unheralded, and won the QE2.
Yeah.
It's now 18 years. We go there and win the Champion Miler race. It's just absolutely amazing.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's wonderful. And also, of course, to Pippa, who has VAR. It must have been so exciting for the whole team down at Avon Tour. and everyone
And
involved
we tipped
with
it
this horse.
last week. We said it would win. You
Yeah.
could go to 11 to 1. It said it will win. I think he's the best miler in the world, this horse.
It
And
looks like it because he's got a wonderful cruising speed.
wonderful. He can get up there. That's the big thing with him. You don't get into any trouble. You can sit him up there and let him bowl along.
Yeah.
Anyway, fantastic to the whole team, and well done to all of them. And as you know, us South Africans are very patriotic and
We're a proud bunch.
proud bunch. But on a sadder note, we had the passing of Bert Hayden over the weekend. Now, Bert was one of the most likable men you've ever come across, and a wonderful jockey. No one will ever forget politician Sid Laird, Bert Hayden, and all those other horses that he rode. And
Yet again was my favourite.
Yet again was your favourite.
Well, I got Yet Again silks.
Still got
My
his colours.
silks are John Schimmel's old silks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, very, very sad. He wasn't in best of health over a number of years, and I know that his son and his family have looked after him, and very sad. And our condolences to his sons and his family, Bert Hayden, on the sad passing. May you rest in peace. Let's move on and have an interview with Mr. Davis. We got Steve Davis.
Great
coming
auctioneer.
on. Now, he's a New Zealander. He can't answer a few questions I throwed him.
Good,
but
good.
he does have a couple of really
You didn't bring up rugby, I hope.
side swipes at me, which, at the end of the day, he really ended up having to have a side swipe at me about my golf handicap. It's really pathetic how these guys, when you get them under pressure and you've got your knee on their neck, they're under.
They come with a cheap
They
shot.
grab you somewhere they shouldn't.
Cheap shots.
Anyway, it was a cheap shot. But Steve, it's fantastic having him on the show. And we did the interview last week while we were in Johannesburg. He's a great supporter of South African racing, and really one of the greats in the auctioneering ranks. And we go to the Magic Millions. He does very well at the Magic Millions.
Yeah, he does all these sales. He's very good, yeah.
So let's go and see what Steve Davis has got to say in Your Call. We have amazing people coming to our shores to do all types of things as far as the bloodstock industry is concerned. But one of the guys who's really supportive, as you'll hear in what we've got to say to him, Steve Davis from New Zealand. He's a great auctioneer and he's a great friend of South African racing. Welcome, Steve. Nice to have you with us.
Yeah, nice to be back. It's always nice to get here. So, prodigal son, perhaps. Sort of.
Yeah, I think that, you find it difficult to get here because, are you that popular here?
I don't know. It's been 14 years now, so I must be either doing it right or I'm too cheap, one or the other.
Listen, you're never too cheap. You New Zealanders come at a price.
I don't know. Look, it's been good. It's been I found it to be a great association. The welcome I get from the breeders here has been good, and the buyers too, for that matter, which is always amazes me that the buyers whom you're trying to wind up and get as much out of, they seem to appreciate. At least they know where they're going with me, I suppose. At the end of the day, there's no confusion.
How did you get into being an auctioneer?
Look, it started, I was going to be a teacher, a school teacher. Had the ambitions to be a school teacher, and then I was doing the commentaries on a Sunday at the Sunday workouts at Alexandra Park in Auckland, and a guy asked me if I'd done any auctioneering, and I said no, and he said, well, look, he said I could, do with a part-time auctioneer. He said, why don't you get some experience over your school holidays, over the holidays from university. And so I did that, managed to find a job with Wrightson's, which started in December, and just before I started, the Teachers College decided that I should pursue another line of employment. So my holiday job became my full-time profession. Yeah.
Are you happy it went that way?
Yeah, I think so now. Look, I think teaching is a great profession. I suppose I still have hankerings to have completed that and done it, but no, look, the job I've done has taken me around the world, and I'm working in a field that I love. I remember one year I had my job description out, and a bloke came around for dinner, had a look at it, and he said, "Geez," he said, "this isn't a job, this is a way of life," and it really is. It's just great.
Were horses always part of your life, Steve?
I was a little punter. Dad was always a 50-cent punter, and I suppose I grew up that, get my $3 for doing the lawns, and take six 50-cent doubles, or go halves with Dad and get 12 of them, and that was where it started. In fact, I spent more then, because I'd spend a lot. I'd spend all the $3 I did on mowing the lawns on having a punt, but no, it was great introduction to it.
It is an unbelievable industry, and you've seen it from top to bottom. There have been some highs, there have been some lows?
Yeah, they have. You see the people, they come and they go, and you see the people with a lot of money that come and go out just about as quickly as they come in, and you sort of wish that you could sort of control it to some extent. But, we sell dreams, and that's what we sell. And it is a wonderful, and it has it high. That's why you've got to really celebrate your victories, because there are times, we got livestock, you got dead stock, things go wrong. Just when you think you've got your champion, something goes wrong. It hurts itself, and it's no longer the potential champion you thought it would be.
There must be some times in your life that have been really high for you. Give us a bit of a look, because you've been all over the world and auctioned horses all over the world.
I tell you what, funny you should say that. I mean, one of my big highs was here with David Southey, selling his horse for $1 million, $1 million rand, should I say. Just someone that, out of the blue, that that really makes an impact. And there have been a number of vendors that I've sold horses for a lot of money that are almost life-changing. The result of that sale is life-changing. That gives you a great thrill, it really does.
I know you go about it and look at all the horses on the sale. Do you ever think to yourself, geez, I'd like to buy this one when it's going through the ring? You think it's going too cheap?
Yeah, I do, but I'm on my second marriage now, and that idea has gone right out the door. Still paying for the furs.
Steve, you're not the only one.
I know. I'm not Robinson Crusoe there. So, no, look, yeah, I do. I mean, I see it. But I get people that come and ask me, and that's one of the advantages of looking at everything I sell, is that people come up and say, you've seen a nice horse. And, of course, the ones I've seen are the ones I'm selling. So, in effect, I'm helping myself, but helping the vendor that I'm selling for. But it'd be a hell of a conflict of interest, though, to start to buying in horses that I was selling as well.
Interesting, you travel around the world, but mainly Australasia, Australia, New Zealand. How do our horses compare really with them?
Look, up there, right now I've seen dramatic improvement in the presentation of horses here, but your horses have always been quality horses, and I think that's the key. They've been successful on the international stage, and geez, I tell you what, James, if you could get your protocols, your export protocols sorted out, you wouldn't know this place. They would be here from the east like you wouldn't believe. And you'd be buying horses with a view to pinhooking. The value of these horses would go up, the ability to go out there and reinvest in brood mares. This place would take off.
You've been at the coalface of that. And New Zealand bloodstock, certainly that's how they really made their money. Did it do them good in the long run?
In terms of getting the horses out? Yeah, you do, because you're establishing new markets all the time. Say Magic Millions in the Gold Coast, they're out. I mean, David Chester's doing a job. He's into Korea. He's into all these, emerging markets, and you need to do that to absorb the number of horses that are being produced and bred.
But would it help a little country like South Africa in the long run to sell off a lot of their good horses?
Well, I don't think you'd sell all of them, but what it would do is create a market for you as a potential trainer, for your owners, with a potential alternative to not only racing but to pinhooking. I mean, you're doing it now. I mean, you're selling into Dubai and things like that, but I mean, that's a small number. Yeah, look, I think it is, because what it would do is it would bring in a great number of more people, more opportunities, more buyers. I think it'd become more vibrant, and it would grow, and growth's great. I can't see a problem with growth.
The big problem I see is that maybe you'll end up in South Africa with no really nice horses racing here.
No. Look, New Zealand's, you say that about New Zealand. Okay, yeah, we sell a lot of our better colts. Because of the Asian market, they are attracted to it. But there's a bit of a move now from Singapore to go buy fillies. But you've seen the New Zealand horses this year competing, at the highest level in Australia. There's always the horses that the owners in New Zealand don't want to sell, or the ones that fail the vet and don't get sold, and they continue to race on because vets aren't always getting it right. So yeah, look, I wouldn't be afraid of that. Wouldn't be.
You're pretty passionate about the sport too. You know a bit about what's going on in the rugby and cricket fields. Let's talk about rugby. You boys, since Carter's gone and a couple of those Lucy's don't look quite as good as they used to be, we've got a bit of pressure.
Look, I think Richie McCaw and Dan Carter, you're always looking for that next generation. They're coming through. I'm a little bit concerned about the Chiefs. We've been the Super 15 champions, a couple of years now. I'm a little worried. I mean, I struggle to say their names, the back line, but, my boys can, they love it. Look, I think that's what brings us together, Australians, South Africans and New Zealanders, is that passion for rugby and for cricket, which, that's that thing that just draws us together. And whether we are competing on the field, off the field, we, sit down and have a beer and slap each other on the back.
Super 15's been a revelation for rugby. Would it be worth getting the Argentinians in?
I don't think so. Too far to travel. Gee, I think the boys are getting burnt out now. That's why the likes of Dan Carter have 12 months off, and the Richie McCaws need to back off because it's just too much. It's a bit like the English soccer. Look at the situation there with the Premier League. There, those boys are playing midweek, Saturdays, Sundays, and they've got to have a squad of 25 to ensure they get through the season.
As far as training racehorses is concerned, owning racehorses, the racing business, seems like the big trainers, the big stables really are on the ascendancy.
Yeah, look, you see that in Australia now, the big are getting bigger. I mean, Chris Waller, he's an interstate guy, he's a Kiwi. He went to Australia with 2 horses. I don't know, he could have 200 horses and work. It's phenomenal. And that's the thing, Peter Moody, Waller. There's a bit of a changing of the guard in Australia. Those young guys. Bjorn Baker, another Kiwi's gone over there and starting to go. The Hawks as a family. We've seen Peter Snowden now leaving Darley and setting up with his sons. There's a new emerging market. It's gone are the days of the Hayes and the Friedmans and the Gay Waterhouses. Not yesterday's people, but they're competing now with a whole bunch of new trainers.
Why are these guys so successful, these young guys?
They've got to run it like a business. They've got great infrastructure. I think they've got afraid to have a foreman who knows what he's doing. You've got to have an understanding of each other, and you've got to know who's boss, because at the end of the day, buck stops with you. But to allow you to have those sort of horses, you need that talent underneath you. You shouldn't be afraid of talent. To really make it, we've seen it with some of these, the old-time cattle auctioneers. They don't want to give the young guy a chance because they think that he's going to get up and be better than you, and next minute you've lost your job. That's not going to happen. And then I think that's the key with our younger trainers now realising the fact they need a decent team around them to create a business-type infrastructure. And I think, too, that you need it for your marketing, for communication and everything else. When you've got 150, 200 horses, you need to be able to communicate with your owners, to give them emails and things. And that's it's a changing world out there now. Businessmen want emails on a Monday morning. They want to know what's happening on a Tuesday, the Thursday, and things like that. And if you've got the right people around you, it can be achieved.
Mike de Kock seems to have done that pretty successfully in South Africa, and you've watched him grow through the ranks. He's been unbelievable.
No, he is the greatest advert for South African racing. He's a great promoter of it. He's not afraid to travel his horses, and he can train. That's the key. I mean, there is an ability, that sixth sense that you need to get a horse, and not only to get a horse to train it and win a race, it's to train a horse to get it to win a race on a particular day, and that's the key of a top trainer, is to get him to peak on that day.
Well, that's what we're all looking for. Are you selling the dreams here? And as you say, 14th year. How long do you see Steve Davis going as an auctioneer? What's the future look like for you?
I don't know. I suppose, James, the day I stop enjoying it, it's probably the day that, I give up. I've got a guy called Mick Malone, Kitchwin stud in Australia, and I said, the day you don't want me to sell, you come and tap me on the show, because that's the day I'll give up. And that's the thing. I think when breeders don't want me to sell their horses, that's the day I need to give up, because you need the support of the breeders, and go forward. I'd like to think, 5-10 years, at least.
Steve, talking about being an auctioneer, not only is it a job because you've got to know what you're selling, but the voice comes into it. How do you find you keep your voice good?
Yeah, I struggle. At times I do struggle. Air conditioning, travelling on planes, getting a cold, infection, stressing, sound system not being up to adequate. Certain things you get a bit of a prima donna. You could probably think about that, but you've got to protect your voice. And if if you start to relax, if you've got a problem with the sound system, you tense up, you're nervous. Clearly it's good. You've got a good sound system and a good sail, then you're relaxed and everything's going super. When you start tensing up, that's when you're going to have a problem.
South African racing, you've seen it evolve, you've seen the problems that we've got here. Well, if you were involved in trying to promote it and push it and do things right for it and wanted to see it move on, what would you do?
No, you just got to grow your turnover. We're the same in New Zealand. We're struggling. You know, we need that turnover of betting. From the other perspective, to say you get your protocols sorted out. There'll be people, you know, from Asia will buy their horses here and race them here. You know, don't think they'll take them all over. They'll use it here as a training ground. A lot of people overseas buy their horses in New Zealand, leave them in New Zealand, get them up and going, take the ones they want back, you know, and that'll happen here. So get your protocol. Geez, I tell you what, it's exciting if you get that sorted. Your export protocol, you get that sorted, and you know, the lights are going to come on. And you think, I mean, when I first sold it, we averaged 100,000 rand for the first time. It grew to 300 and something thousand in 2008. Okay, it's come back off that, but geez, that's a significant growth. But mate, that'll be small compared to what will happen if people could come here, put them into a little bit of quarantine, and take them back to home.
Do you see it happening? The Australians seem to have it right with Henra, but we've got horse sickness which doesn't seem as bad as Henra. They got it right.
Well, you got to test. You know, you get your test right, get your vets to give them the confidence, to give the worldwide community confidence, and I can't see why not. You know, get your ducks in a row, and get it right. But it seems to be taking forever. We've been talking about this for 14 years.
That's the problem. We have been talking about it for 14 years. We've done a few interviews. We've got a few new people on board. We're hoping that they're going to be able to do the job for us.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, let's get the support. Let's open it up. Get your government behind you. Put a bit of pressure on it to find out why it's being stopped, why it's being blocked. You know, let's say, you know, put the checks and balances in place, and so that at the end of the day, because obviously if something was to go wrong, then all of a sudden the doors will come down and we'll be shut forever. So we've got to get it right. Well, you've got to get it right before you get the protocol sorted. Get it sorted and you're away.
We love having you here. How did it start? What was the beginning? How did they find Steve Davis?
Robin Bruss. I was selling Magic Millions, and Robin Bruss came over. He was consulted because of Graham Hawkins and Clive Gardner had gone to work with the opposition Equimark, and they needed an auctioneer, I think another auctioneer. So I was invited by Robin to come over and to sell with the late Peter Lovemore, God bless him, and Brian Makwalabara, and the three of us got up and sold, and that year we averaged 100,000 rand. And for the first ever time, I think they realised that, you know, there was life after the likes of the previous auctioneers.
Well, we love having you here. We wish you'd stay a bit longer because we'd like to get our money on a few of those, that New Zealand money of yours, you know, on the golf course, because you like playing a bit of golf.
Yeah, I wouldn't play you though, James Goodman. They tell me you're on a 12. You're an absolute burglar. I tell you what, if you're watching out there, the handicapper, you've got to cut it. He's on 12 now. He's only been putting in his bad cards. The 75s, 74s, he hasn't been putting in. So please, he's not a 12.
You know, reputations are built on bullshit, okay? And certainly I've seemed to have built a real great reputation as a golfer.
Yeah, mate, if I was playing, I'd always want you on my team, I tell you that.
The compliment of compliments. Steve, it's absolutely fabulous having you here, and long may it go on, because when your happy, smiling face walks in the door, we think, well, here's some fireworks.
Yeah, mate, look, I enjoy it, and as long as people are enjoying it, and we don't have any problems, and it's good, and so far it's been great, so long may it continue. Thanks.
Well, I really used to like Steve Davis, but now he's gone on his hobby horse on camera to say that I'm a ringer off my handicap. Anyway, I'll forgive him. He's a great guy, Steve. Lovely having him here, and he's given some ideas for thought for those people that run this industry. Fantastic of him to be here for the National Yearling Sales, and I'm sorry he's not here more often. But to you guys who watch Winning Ways and have enjoyed the show, all the best and happy weeks racing.